Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's radio show, hosted by yours truly, Sanna Chani. Today's July 18th, 2026, and it is a beautiful Saturday. I'm super excited to be here with you today because I have something really amazing to share. That is right. I am introducing a super trending article from the archive, and it is going to blow your mind. I'm just a high school kid who loves reading about cool tech, and I cannot wait to dive into this one with you. So, the title of the paper we are looking at today is Groc-PO, Grounded Context Preference Optimization for Truthful Multimodals. The curl is orgsieve.org/2607.13712v1. It is a bit long, but I promise the content is absolutely fascinating. Multimodal Large Language Models, or MLLMs for short, are these incredible AI systems that can understand both text and images. They're transforming how we interact with computers, and they have astonishing potential in things like answering questions about pictures, and even helping out in medical analysis. But, there's a big problem that this paper is trying to solve. You see, despite being super smart, these models still suffer from something called untruthfulness issues. Basically, they sometimes hallucinate or make things up. For example, they might look at a picture and fabricate objects that are not there. Or they may misunderstand the relationships between things in the image. This is a huge bummer because it really undermines their reliability and makes it hard to trust them in real-world applications. Now, to fix this, researchers usually use a method called direct preference optimization, or DPO. DPO is like a training method based on human feedback, where the model learns to prefer good answers over bad ones. But here is the catch. Standard DPO usually only looks at the final answer the model gives. It just says whether the final result is good or bad. Multimodal reasoning is actually a multi-stage process. It is not just one quick thought. It involves where the model figures out what is in the picture, the later reasoning stages, where it puts all that information together to answer a complex question. The researchers found out that a lot of times, if the final answer is wrong, it is because the model made a tiny mistake in the very early stages of looking at the image. Maybe it misidentified a camera as a remote control. Then the tiny mistake snowballs and propagates across the later stages, leading to a totally wrong final answer. Because standard DPO only checks the final answer, it's really hard to correct those early stage mistakes. The supervision is indirect, which makes it super tough to stop the error from growing and ruining the whole response. So, to tackle this tricky problem, the amazing authors of this paper propose a brand new framework called Groc. Pet state, instead of just judging the final answer, Groc provides explicit supervision across multiple different stages of the reasoning process. To make this work, they constructed a special dataset called the Grounded Context Preference Dataset, or GCARNet. This dataset organizes the training examples into 3 distinct stages. Let me break down these 3 stages for you in detail, because it is super interesting. The first stage is called object grounding. This is the very beginning of the thought process, where the model just needs to identify the basic facts in the image. It is like asking the model to simply list every single entity it sees and note their key attributes. For example, it would see a boy, a skateboard, and a man. The second stage is called contextual grounding. This builds on the first stage. Here, the model has to describe the relationships between the objects and really understand how they form a meaningful whole. It is not just about seeing the boy and the skateboard, but understanding that the boy is riding the skateboard. Finally, the third stage is grounded reasoning. This is the most complex part. The model is asked a really hard question that requires logical inference and it has to use the reliable context it built in the first 2 stages to figure out the answer. By training the model step by step through these 3 stages, Groc makes sure the model builds a really solid foundation of facts before it tries to do any complex reasoning. And that is not all. The groundwork also uses an adaptive stage-aware optimization strategy. This means it dynamically changes how much it focuses on different training samples. It gives more weight to the later, more complex stages, because those are harder to learn. It also uses a hardness-aware focusing weight, which means it forces the model to pay more attention to really difficult questions, rather than wasting time on the easy ones. When we compare Groc-PO with standard Groc-PO and other existing technologies, the results are just mind-blowing. The paper shows that Groc achieves significantly better performance in mitigating hallucinations. It suppresses those weird made-up facts much better than standard though. Also, when it comes to complex reasoning tasks, Groc completely outperforms the baselines. It is like giving the AI a pair of glasses and a logic textbook, so it can see clearly and think straight. Standard DAO just cannot compete, because it misses out on correcting those early foundational mistakes. Then you might be wondering, how does this amazing technology actually apply to our everyday lives? Well, I've got 3 super cool specific application examples for you. The first application example is in the medical field, specifically for AI assistants helping doctors with medical imaging. Imagine a doctor looking at a complex X-ray MRI scan. An AI trained with standard Groc-PO might jump straight to a wrong diagnosis, because it misidentified a tiny shadow early on. But an AI trained with Groc-PO would be so much more reliable. In the first stage, it would accurately ground all the basic biological structures in an image. In the second stage, it would understand the relationships between those structures, like noticing if a bone is pressing against a nerve. This means doctors could trust the AI much more, leading to safer and more accurate healthcare for everyone. The second specific application example is for autonomous driving. For smart traffic analysis systems, self-driving cars need to process a crazy amount of visual information in real time. If the car uses a normal, an early mistake like thinking a stop sign is a billboard could lead to a disastrous driving decision. With Groc-PO, the car's AI would carefully build its understanding of the street scene. First, it would identify the pedestrians, the traffic lights, and the other cars. Then, it would establish their context, like recognizing that a pedestrian is walking towards the crosswalk. Finally, it would perform grounded reasoning to decide if it needs to hit the brakes. This step-by-step, explicit supervision ensures the AI does not hallucinate empty roads, making our streets way safer for both drivers and pedestrians. The third application example is an educational technology, like an AI tutor for high school students. Let us say a student is trying to solve a complicated geometry problem and upload a picture of the diagram to their AI tutor. If the AI is not truthful, that might completely mess up the explanation. But with Groc-PO, the AI tutor becomes an amazing teacher. First, it accurately grounds all the shapes, angles, and lines in the diagram. Then it understands the geometric relationships, like identifying which lines are parallel. Finally, it walks the student through the complex reasoning needed to solve the math problem. Because it relies on explicitly grounded facts, the AI will not confidently teach the student the wrong math formula. It would provide reliable, step-by-step help, making learning so much more effective and fun. In conclusion, this paper is a huge step forward for AI technology. By breaking down the reasoning process and explicitly supervising the early grounding stages, Groc-PO stops errors from snowballing. It makes multimodal large language models so much more trustworthy and ready to help us in hospitals and the roads and in our classrooms. I'm just so amazed by how smart these researchers are, and I hope you found this topic as exciting as I did. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I will catch you next time with more awesome tech news. Bye-bye.